the freedom of non-religion. I've always considered myself to be different. I'm not usually the type to go and hop on a bandwagon. It's to the point where, like, if a song comes out and everyone loves it, I don't even allow myself to like it until I've had a chance to really hear it and judge it for myself. I'm not sure where it started, but I have a pretty good idea that it was my appreciation for Michael Jackson. By the time I was in high school, it was so not cool to be a hardcore Michael Jackson fan. I stood alone in defense of the horrible allegations that were made while nearly everybody around me had condemned the man. And it was then that I learned a few important lessons. Number one, you can't base your opinion off what others think and feel. Because if you do that, you don't even know and you can't confirm if those feelings are even based on anything factual or if it's just random hearsay. Two, I learned that you must always learn the facts before passing judgment. Or, before forming any type of opinion. To this day, most people that try to confront me about Michael Jackson regurgitate media snippets and hearsay, and I usually talk them into a corner with facts. And this usually still results in, well, but still. Well, still nothing. But this isn't about him at the moment. I know there are many people out there that are not going to agree with what I have to say, but there are some people out there that can open their minds and hear the truth. My truth. What I believe wholeheartedly when it comes to the world and religion. Now, I was baptized Roman Catholic, not by choice, of course. My parents took that liberty for themselves. The funny thing is that my first real question when I was little was, well, why Roman? I'm not from Rome. Is there like a London Catholic? I know it sounds silly as an adult asking that, but as a child, those are really valid questions. And, they were questions that were never answered. And as I got older, I don't recall going to any type of Roman Catholic services, but I did go to a Baptist church with my grandmother quite a few times. Now, from my understanding, Roman Catholic is not Christian, but Baptist is part of Christianity, so I still don't understand why I was going to a Baptist church. How is it that Catholics, Christians, and Mormons all believe in Jesus, but they have a different story as to his existence and his relevance? Now, I'm going to bring up my guy MJ for this example. Now, there's fans like me that believe he was great during all his eras, okay? The greatest entertainer to ever hit the stage. But then you have those fans that only think he was great during the Thriller era, or the Bad era, or the Off the Wall era. And each of those fans will preach that he was the best during their favorite era. And some of them might argue that his voice was best during the early days of the Jacksons, and others might say it was during Bad when he was in his prime, and then some might even say that he was in his prime during the Thriller era. Now, if each of those fans wrote, a testament of their beliefs, we would all have a different idea of who Michael Jackson was, depending on which book we read. In turn, which religion to follow. And don't even let me bring up the fans that say Prince was the greatest of all time and let them write a testament. All that to say, who was told what was real and what was actual, what was fact and what was fiction. We have Rihanna fans, Beyonce fans, Lady Gaga fans, Michael Jackson fans, Justin Bieber fans, Janet Jackson fans, each of whom can sit and tell you why their person is best above all the rest, and fight you tooth and nail no matter what facts you bring to support your person. Is this not how religion works? Does not every religion believe that they are the superior religion? That what they practice is right, real, and true? I would like to first point out that this world is grand. This world is no accident. We are the creation of a power that's so great that the human mind cannot begin to understand it. And for this reason, man created religion and time. Humans need to rationalize things. There can't just be something just because. God just can't exist without explanation. Now, as far back as civilization goes, there was always some type of worship to some type of God, okay? And as civilizations evolved, so did the religious ideas. I have a huge interest in ancient Egypt and Egyptian theory and mythologies, but I'm not going to sit here and point out all the things that Christianity took and adapted to fit their modern European society. That's redundant. Google it. The truth is out there for you. This here is simply my thoughts and my ideas about the subject. Most recently, I saw a shirt on Facebook, and it sparked a thought that I never had before, and I might be late with this thought, but the shirt said, "Who did black people pray to before slavery?" I sat there and I thought about this really hard, and I just couldn't figure out who that might be. I mean, they were taken from Africa, and I don't know much about African worship, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm quite sure that it wasn't Jesus worship. And so I began watching some videos on the subject, and I was really amazed at the amount of black people that were asking the same question. One of the key things that someone pointed out was nature versus nurture. Now, if you were born with no religion and you grow up and your parents tell you that Muslim is correct, that's what you're going to grow up to have faith in, and you're going to embrace Allah. Allah will be God and nothing else. If you grow up Christian, you'll grow up to have faith in and embrace Jesus Christ as your Savior. And if you're Catholic, well, you'll grow up and believe and embrace in the Pope. Hold up. The Pope. Anyways, my point is, that it's the nurture, not the nature, that makes someone religious. But you know what is natural? Spirituality. When you feel connected to the earth, the universe, and God in your soul. That's real. That's natural. And what religion does is it takes that and it directs it to a particular worship of a particular character. And I say character for this reason. Now, consider in 1,000 years, after our civilization has died out and a new one is reborn, that there were no texts left behind except the entire Harry Potter series. Now, someone compiled them into the Hogwarts Historical Bible, and inside you would read the text from the Book of Voldemort, the Book of Snape, and of course the Book of Hermione. I know you're giving me the side eye right now, but calm down. No, I mean really. They would talk about how Harry Potter was this ridiculous, amazing child god wizard who defeated Voldemort and his army of talking snakes. Now that sounds ridiculous, but does it sound more ridiculous than Bible stories? How can people that don't believe in ghosts turn right around and celebrate Easter? The main issue with religion is how people pick and choose what they're going to follow, what texts are symbolic and metaphoric, and what are actual events. They pick and choose what to practice and what not to practice, what to accept and what to ignore. How is there any religious, gay-hating, overweight person? Does that even make sense? Are we just going to ignore the gluttony? How are we going to have unmarried people with kids that say gay marriage is wrong? It's because religion is simply a tool to help people manage their own lives, okay? What works for them at that given moment. And when things become too stressful, they'll pray on it. And when things go great, they'll thank God for it. But which God do they actually thank? There's so many. I'm not saying that if a religion can bring people together in unity, it's a bad thing. But it really just divides people. Right? My problem is when people swear by it and they look at somebody like me like I'm crazy for not believing in it. How can anyone remotely ask me why I don't want my son baptized? Riddle me this. Now, I love Michael Jackson so much that I want to start my own religion, and I'm going to call it Jacksonism, which, excuse me, by the way, technically does already exist, and no, I'm not a Jacksonist, but anyways, back to my hypothetical here. Anyways, as a Jacksonist, you must not work on August 29th as we celebrate the birth of Michael Jackson. As a Jacksonist, we are forbidden to read any form of tabloid material. We must wear only high-water black pants and shiny socks with floor sheen penny loafers, okay? When our children are born, we must bless them with water from Cary, Indiana. And when they're 5 years old, we must have them ingest the body and blood of Michael Jackson to accept him into their lives. The KFC is going to represent his body, and the fruit smoothie is going to represent his blood. Now, we must not cut their hair. We must let it grow into an afro, and on their 19th birthday, that's when we give them the Jerry curl. Are you freaking serious? I know that's what you're saying to me. But why are you saying that? What makes that crazy? If enough people signed up and practiced this, it would be a real religion. His birthday would be a real holiday, and I would not be able to work on those days due to my religious beliefs, and the world would need to accept that fact. Now, what's interesting is one of the things to qualify as a religion is based on what the IRS requires, okay? The IRS requires that the particular religious beliefs of the organization are truly and sincerely held, and that the practices and rituals associated with the organization's religious beliefs and creed is not illegal or contrary to clearly defined public policy. Now, hold on. Was the IRS around during the time of the Mayans? Was the IRS around when the Egyptians decided to worship Ra? I mean, maybe I'll consider joining the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster and practice Pastafarianism. I mean, I could even pay $25 to become a Pastafarianism minister. And this is a real thing, by the way. If you didn't see the story about the lady who wanted to wear a strainer on her head in her license photo, she took it to court and she won. Please, again, Google it. Google is at your disposal. The truth is out there, okay? So, no, I choose not to subject my son to being baptized into a religion. If my son grows up and he chooses to follow one, so be it. But I hope he will be educated enough to understand the difference between the idea of the creation of religion to satisfy man's inability to understand the greater powers that be, and the true spirit, the true connection that your soul has to the universe and to God. You can feel it. God does not come and speak to you through a burning bush, okay? This idea that Jesus died for people's sins, it comes how many years after Adam and Eve ate apples and committed incest? How long after Egyptians created the mythical story of Ra, Horus, and Isis? He came to die, but then, no, wait, he didn't really die because he came back to life, like Osiris, who came way, way before him. And I speak of these as characters. And he died for people's sins on the condition that you still have to be saved in order to continue to be broke, live in poverty, struggle, experience death and loss. Really? All with the hopes of going to heaven. Heaven is a man-made idea because man cannot fathom the non-existence that comes, when our physical body dies. The idea was placed there to give people something to achieve. And hell was placed there to encourage people to be good. And I don't need to be threatened with stories of the devil and fire to make me a good person. I just feel in my heart that people should be good to each other. But again, these same individuals that believe in heaven and hell, Jesus and Satan, don't believe in the tooth fairy. Now I pray, I do. I pray to God, the creator of this and all life. The one that is so great, I don't even know if God knows what happens here on this little blue planet. But I have hopes that God looks in on us every once in a while. And I actually think God does, in the form of feelings, spiritual connections, human connections, and most of all, love. See, love, that's God's greatest gift. And that love is meant to be given to each other. The feeling of love is indescribable. And the gift of my son and the love that I feel when I'm near him is nothing more or nothing less than the ultimate gift of the divine creator. That creator is not bound to the pages of books written by man. God provided man with the amazing, amazing ability to create and imagine. And religion is just one product of these amazing gifts. Now, if I've offended anyone, that wasn't my intention. But I'm as free as you are to wholeheartedly believe every word that I've said here, and for you not to believe it. But you know what? As I scroll through Facebook on a daily basis and I see the "like if you love Jesus" posts, well, I feel I have the right to post this and not be targeted as an atheist, because I'm not an atheist. I'm a free thinker, and I invite you to be free.